You are now listening to Nexxlegacy Radio, a radio station for the people.
Pretty much has her hands full, being, a superwoman, working hard, trying to make sure that she takes care of, as many people on her roster as possible. And I want to welcome my girl, Crystal Jordan of Enchanted P.R. to the AM Buzz. What's up, sweetheart?
Hey, good morning. Well, good morning to you. It's good afternoon here in Atlanta. Good morning to you.
Absolutely. Fresh in the afternoon, barely the afternoon for you guys out there. Morning, of course, it's over here on the west, and I'm glad you're here. I'm good. How's everything going for you? I'm pretty sure you're doing all the things you do to start your day. Everything's good, right?
Absolutely. It's been a busy Monday's gotten off to a busy start, but busy is good, so we're not going to complain about that.
That's right. So for the people out there who do not know you and definitely want to get to know you, tell the people exactly what it is that you do.
Well, I am an entertainment publicist, and I have a company. We're based in Atlanta, but we have clients and connections across the U.S. The company's name is Enchant P.R, and we do public relations, marketing, and branding for a lot of different types of clients. A lot of them are entertainment industry based, of course, and I think that's what people, like to hear about. But we also do events with celebrities, and then even just with general population. We also have a client that is an OBGYN that we do some fun stuff with. We have a client that throws like some really huge destination events, and then we have, of course, new artists and songwriters, and of course, right now the biggest client on our roster is TLC, and they have so much going on that it's unbelievable right now. I'm so excited for them. So it's a lot, but it's a blessing.
So when you have the list of people that you do have that you work with, do you kind of organize your day like, okay, well, this is priority A, priority B, priority C, or are they all priorities that needs to be taken care of throughout the day? Well,
all the clients are priorities, and we don't really look at it like most people look at it, because they're all our priority. And really, the great thing about public relations, the thing I like about it, is that your day is never really the same. I mean, there are definitely certain things that we do all the time. Like one of the first things I do, which really I do even on the weekends, is check Google alerts on clients and see what internet activity is going on. And that's really important so that you can know what the public is reading about, because that's how we get our information now is online. So that's something that we do all the time. And then depending on what's going on with that, then we go on to make sure that, maybe some information needs to be sent out, interviews need to be done. So those things are pretty regular, but, it could be changes in scheduling. Like this morning I was dealing with a schedule conflict for a client doing the TV appearance, and so we need to get that straightened out. And then there's another client doing a photo shoot on Wednesday, so I was going over with the stylist exactly what the references were going to be and what the look was going to be. So it's, if you like change and challenge, then public relations is a great field for you. If you like routine, you probably should stay away from it.
I don't know. It seems like it's exciting to a point where it's like you said, you get up every morning, you don't really know what to expect, and it's kind of one of those jobs where, I always feel like, people like yourself is definitely underappreciated. You're not searching for the spotlight, I guess you could say. So my question to you is, when you do have, certain opportunities to be able to handle and take care of, as far as different artists, and you have to put out fires. What are some of the major things you look for? You say you check Google alerts, but what about if there's certain artists that needs the press just as bad, just to be able to clear up from either internet rumors or certain things like that? How do you handle that?
Well, that's a really good question. It's a lot of different ways you can handle it. I've worked with athletes before. I've worked with, obviously a lot of artists, and so, it can just depend on what the situation is. I had a client one time that we had a huge press junket scheduled that day, which means they're going to be doing interviews pretty much all day. They could be call-in radio interviews, they could be reporters actually coming out, or it could be some actual television interviews. We had a full day of press for an artist, and they actually ended up getting arrested on their way to the press day. So, yeah, so that was, it's interesting because every situation is different. And now when I first started doing this, the internet wasn't the monster that it is now. So back then, our rule of thumb was always to make the story as, as clean as possible. So this happened, back in early 2000s, and so I definitely didn't tell anyone what happened, and said that there was an emergency that came up, and we allowed the rest of the group to do the interviews. But today, that may not be the best way, because someone could snap a picture of the artist being arrested, and then you look like a liar. Your credibility is challenged. So
no doubt.
now it's definitely different, and I think you have to tell the truth without telling more information than people actually need, because sometimes it's just that artist may be dealing with something that's personal, and the public feels like they have the right to know, but sometimes people just need to deal with things on their own before they can even attempt to give a little bit or explain anything. So our job is kind of to distribute that information for them sometimes, or give it to them in the best way possible that is going to go over as smoothly with the media, because really the media are the ones that tell the public what to think about clients. So.
Yeah, that mugshot might go viral, like, before you even have a chance to wake up in the morning, and that might be all bad.
Absolutely.
Bad.
Absolutely. So that it's fun, but it's challenging and it's nerve-wracking. So, I'm just thankful that happened before, years ago when I just started, and the internet wasn't as powerful. That picture would have been tweeted before I even got a chance to talk to the reporter.
And not only that, you know how it is with these iPhones now, sweetheart. Like, you'll probably get, like, somebody that took a picture of them going into the police car, and then that thing would have been put on somebody's Facebook page real quick.
Absolutely. And even still, even with all that I do, I still get fans that tell me, I don't know how they get the information, but I know Chili went to a WWE event, and she's at the event. I know she's going, but I'm getting pictures of her at the event before anything has even started. They're viral. They've started a whole page. It's crazy. So, it's good that fans are great, but sometimes it's like they are extremely savvy when it comes to getting information out nowadays.
No doubt. So, I hear you. Wow. Crystal Jordan's our guest on the AM Buzz, and with all the stuff that you do, and you mentioned Chili, and you're working with TLC on certain things. How is that experience? Working with and trying to map out a strategic plan with these ladies who are icons in this industry, in the entertainment industry.
Well, the experience with them is number one. I can say. I've been working with Chili this is like 7 years, and that's a really long time to be, representing an artist. But she and I, are very close friends in addition to actually, working together, and that's a blessing. That doesn't usually happen. And of course, I was a huge TLC fan, and still am a huge TLC fan. But the great thing about them is because they left such an impact, and people have such a love for what they did. It's easy to get people interested, and people are calling, wanting to know what's going to happen. Where are they at? Where can we find them? So I guess the challenge with them is just making sure that we do the right interviews at the right time, and that everything leads up to a story. But, I mean, they really have it's the difference between artists that left an impression and then artists that just had hot records,
Right.
They stood for something, and you got people that are willing to bend over backwards to accommodate them. So it's a lot of fun, and I think people are excited to hear new music from them and to see this movie, which I'm telling you guys is amazing. Like, I feel like a fan, watching on the sidelines, even though I'm working, with them. I'm so excited, and I'm happy to see this happening for them because they're both just amazing women and great role models.
Agreed. And of course, I want to shout you out for helping put together two still talked about interviews on this station for them as well. So I have to say thank you. And I don't know if you know it, but people are still thinking that was a pretty I don't go around saying, hey, you know what, I just had a perfect interview, but I let the listeners kind of decide that, and you had a major hand in both of them over this past week. So I thank you dearly.
Of course, no problem. Absolutely.
You know, I had a few questions for some people online as far as sending emails, and I appreciate that too, because you know a lot of people want to know not just more about you, but a lot of people want to know more about the work that you do. So, if there's any established artists, or you know even some of the newer people out there, do you have room for them possibly, and what is the criteria you look for if you're trying to take on a client?
Well, I look for potential and just someone that will be a good fit. I do a few different things though. In addition to actually having clients on my roster, I write bios. And when I first moved here, I wrote so many so many bios for artists, and labels would bring me on to media train artists and kind of get them ready when they were doing promotional tours. So I had the opportunity to work with pretty much every artist that was here in Atlanta at the time. I was new to Atlanta, and I remember I started working at another PR agency with a new artist named Sierra. Of course, that first album went crazy, and it was a great experience. But I had a chance to really kind of get in and meet artists and see what it takes to kind of get them ready on the other side. Once you leave the stage and you leave the studio, there's another side to to being able to really impress the public in a positive way. So we have clients that are on our roster full time, and then we also have clients that we, media train or, do sessions with to kind of help them be able to kind of tell their story in an effective way. We organize shoots and do image consulting. So it's a whole lot of things that go into public relations and branding now, and it's so important because that's really the way that you leave an impression. There's a lot of opportunities for anyone that has exposure. So you want to make sure that you maximize that opportunity, and getting a publicist on board is the best way to do that after you have, a good management team. So I look for people that, like I said, are compatible. I like diversity, but then I also like people that are willing to kind of stretch themselves and grow. When I first started doing this, a lot of the artists would say, well, I just want to keep it real, and you do want to keep things real, but there's a certain way that you want to present yourself. This is your job 24/7. When you're an artist, your job is, signing autographs just as much as it is being on stage and dancing. So you have to understand that. So when I have artists that understand that and they're excited about that, then it makes us excited about, working with them.
Okay. That's actually a very good answer. So all you people out there listening, make sure you go ahead and get this good game that Crystal's giving you guys. What are some of the misconceptions that you guys have as far as your line of work? I mean, I feel like I said, not appreciated as much, and I feel like a lot of people may take you guys for granted from time to time. So what are some misconceptions that you kind of see that not just you but others that kind of work in your same field have to deal with?
There are quite a few, and I would say probably the two biggest ones. I think that people are usually drawn to this job because they think that you get to have a lot of fun. You just party all the time. And when I tell you that is not true, that is not true. I've been to pretty much every red carpet you could imagine, from the BET Awards, the VH1, but when you're doing those awards, you're not partying. You're there representing your client. And, I enjoy that, but a lot of times when interns come on board, they just think we're going to go to the club and party, and that's really a huge misconception. If we have an event at a club, like we did a huge PR event for the Steve Harvey movie that came out, and Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, and we had Michael Ealy there. We did like a personal media dinner right before the premiere, the red carpet premiere. So, the interns that came on, I think one that just started there, she's just, standing around looking and, staring at Michael Ealy, and we're like, that's not the job. The job is making sure that you get the right pictures with him, that you get the right people introduced to him, and we get the right, especially at events, getting the right pictures, working with the photographer to make sure. So you're really running around and tending to that, and I think a lot of people are looking at something that they can just get in and kind of be a pseudo-celebrity themselves, and really you're serving. You're really not doing that at all. Another thing is it's a difficult position in some ways because you have to balance the media, and the media, wants interviews when they want them, and the celebrity may not want to do the interview at that time, the manager. So you're kind of the middleman between all these different entities, and that can get very stressful. I know I sometimes have to take a break. It's just, because there's a lot of different agendas, and your job is to really balance them. So and the publicist is always the first person that gets blamed, regardless of who is placing the blame. It could be the label, it could be the manager, it could be the artist. Everyone's looking at the publicist. So that can be difficult, but I enjoy it because I enjoy being able to really shape public opinion and be able to work with people that do great things. But it's definitely not the glamorous red carpet. I've probably been photographed on red carpet looking worse than anyone, because your job is to make sure your client looks great, and in doing that, you don't get a chance to get your makeup done and have the designer dress on. The publicist is usually there in the back with sweaty hair and a clipboard. So it's definitely not the picture that people think of when they think of PR.
Girl, please, you can't take a bad picture even if you tried. I've seen some of your pictures.
Well, thank you, and I can send you some of those red carpet outtakes where it's like, is that Crystal? In fact, it's funny, we did a promo for Fast and Furious here, and I was going through the pictures to put up on sent to a couple of media outlets on Chili and T-Boz. We had, of course, Ludacris and Big Boy, the Braxton sisters, a great turnout. And I'm there in the background, just looking a hot mess. But at the end of the day, it was a great event. We got the media impressions that we needed to, and that's the job. So I can definitely point you in the direction of some bad pictures.
And people out there on the AM Buzz listening, when she say a hot mess, that she's looking like other women wish they looked like. Period. So she's just being modest, you people. I'm just saying. Crystal George, our guest on the AM Buzz. Let me ask you a couple of quick ones before I let you go. The music industry in itself, because I know when we were talking to Tion last week, I know she was talking about, there's not a lot of money into it like it used to be. It's labels are a different deal. What are your thoughts about the industry in general, as far as the evolution of it from when you were a fan of TLC to now?
Well, she probably hit the nail on the head with the most important change. I think that, the money is definitely different. When I first started working in entertainment PR, probably 2004, 2005, the budgets, the labels were spending were kind of drying up. Now they're completely gone, so there was, a budget for artist development. There was a huge, video and promotions budget. And, artists just don't have those luxuries. There's probably 5 artists that have them now, if that. And,
right.
Obviously, we don't even need to name those people. We know who they are that have the budgets that can do things like that. But
True.
One of the things I think that offsets that, so that, artists aren't going to make a huge amount of money. There's not places for videos to be seen. We don't even get tangibles from artists anymore. I used to look forward to the CD. I told Chili and T-Boz I probably bought Crazy Sexy Cool about 9 times my freshman year of college, because I had to keep going back. I didn't want just the CD. I wanted to have the entire, you want the package. You want to pull it out and read their thank yous and see who produced it and look at the pictures inside. And, people nowadays, that's not the case. So artists don't have the ability to make as much money from record sales. They've sold 60, 70 million records. That you don't meet a lot of artists that start today that get to those numbers, but there are a lot of other opportunities. They are, some of the artists that are out there doing these big contracts with, L'Oreal or MAC or, all different types of brands that offers another opportunity for them to make money. We have a DJ that is a really popular DJ, part of a collective group here that has really been responsible for breaking artists. And, getting him gigs to DJ, it's one thing, but it's Atlanta. There's 10 million DJs here. But we were able to get him a situation where he was a correspondent with a magazine and Ford. So that's a great opportunity. It gets him out in another direction, allows him to make some money, and then it also, exposes him to a different demographic. So I think there are other opportunities that weren't available to musicians and artists and actors and, different types of talent, but you have to be very creative, and you have to know that the bulk of their money is not going to come from the sales.
Amen to that. That is real game right there, though, because I look at it the same way you look at it, and to me as a fan of music, I just look at people and the lack of creativity that's out there in some way, shape, or form. That hopefully we can be able to change it. Hopefully, the people that's actually putting out music is doing it for the right reasons, for good, not for evil, I guess you could say.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, hopefully we'll be able to say that. What about television? Because, I'm pretty sure you're going to run into a lot of people that you work with, actors or actresses and, and people trying to fight their way through TV when there's so much reality TV out there. So what are your thoughts on television and the evolution of it?
Oh, my gosh. And, Atlanta's a huge place right now for TV, and I have worked with some of the reality shows. I won't name the ones. I will not name them, so I'm not discriminated against with any of that. But I think
I heard that.
I think TV is a great opportunity. I think that I think shows that are taping now, I think scripted series are great because I think people really are kind of getting tired of the drama on reality shows. Like after a while, that whole excitement and the drama wears off and people start seeing there's no substance here. So I think that's coming to an end slowly. I think it's the shock value initially, and that happens in any industry that deals with entertainment. People like to be shocked and people want to push the envelope, but I think we've pushed it with reality TV just about as much as we can. And, nothing against any of those shows. I think they're great. But I also think that, we have a responsibility to put out a balance, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more positive things coming to television, and that's one of the things that we're excited about with this movie on VH1, because when Chili did her show, one of the issues was that people really wanted to see a lot more. They wanted to see her do, make out with this guy and go through a lot of different guys, and I respect the fact that she didn't want to do that because she has a son, and that's just not who she is, even for ratings. Mm-hmm. And when you make stands like that, it's difficult, but if you have the right intentions, I think it's rewarded. And one of the rewards is her getting this movie, and it's going to be on VH1, and it's something that's positive. So I think we need more things like that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, especially in television. I just want to see good acting, though, Crystal. I mean, when it's all said and done, I just want to see people, owning the role and trying to work their ass off to be able to make that role work for them. That's all I want to see.
Well, I think we will. I think that in that particular situation, Keke Palmer, sweetheart, just a beautiful girl, great actress, and I think, Little Mama and Drew Fedora, they were great cast, and I think everybody came really to work and excited about the project. So I think when actors and actresses get great scripts, they're excited, and there's something for them to strive for, because right now we've been putting real actors as cameos on reality shows. That's a problem.
Right. Yeah, big problem. And and I'm pretty sure the three women that you just mentioned, loves the fact that they're playing iconic figures like, all three members of TLC, and I think that's dope. So you and me, we got to put something together, like that build-up we was talking about from that VH1 release of this movie. We need to try to interview as many people that was either behind the scenes, directing, all three members, Keke and Lil Mama and Drew, get them on, and let's try to create as much hype around it, because it deserves that hype. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That history is that history. So before I let you go, your website, your Twitter, all your information, make sure you give that out there to the public so they can be able to check you out.
Absolutely. Well, it's easy. I'm Enchanted PR everywhere. Go to Twitter. If you go to Facebook, if you go to Instagram, you can find me. We're in the process of kind of relaunching our website for the summer, and you can follow me on those sites. If you need to get in touch with me, I'm enchantedpr@gmail is the general mailbox, and but like I said, you can reach out on any of those sites. It's just Enchanted PR, and I'll be there.
Yep. Check this woman out. Support this woman. Like I said, follow her on Twitter. I'll be going ahead and blasting it out this morning throughout the rest of the show. And I want to thank you for taking time out with me and hang out. And I love you. I mean, we've been, the first time I interviewed Chili was maybe a couple years ago. And being able to kind of talk to you and being able to, still be able to keep that communication going and flowing. I just really appreciate you for what you do. Not too many people in your line of business, will have an interview and we, I can publicly say thank you. So I'm doing that, and I'm always gonna do it. So.
Well, I appreciate it, and I just appreciate you guys supporting TLC, and the other clients that we have will be hitting you up. So we appreciate it and look forward to talking to you guys again soon, especially when we have the girls are going to Japan, and there's lots of fun stuff coming up. So we'll be sure to stay tuned.
I'm definitely going to be on your line to have them back, and maybe they can take calls from fans and stuff like that too. And we can do a fan mail version of a radio show right here. Just do that takeover and just let it happen.
That sounds good. Well, thank you, Charles.
You're welcome. I'll be in touch. So if there's anything you need in the future, give me a holler. All right.
Okay, I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. That is the beautiful Crystal Jordan on the AM Buzz, and one song, and we'll come right back.
Thank you for listening to the #1 radio station for the people.